Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto had gained a bloodline and build harem with Fem Haku Tayuya and Yugito part 3. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto threw the Senbon expertly, piercing Neji's kneecap. The Hyuga screamed in pain as he clutched his left kneecap. Naruto said, "Now, the patella bone is not damaged at all when a victim is subjugated to kneecapping, but however there are damages to the soft tissues, which include nerves and arteries. But don't worry, I made sure not to have you die on me. I hate to say it, but you are an asset to the village. Now if you were useless like my pink-haired teammate, I would have cut you down to size, but then again, I could be killed by the Hyuga clan. But then the council would first try to get my sperm and impregnate several women, which will not happen at all. Moving on, hamstringing, I can't use this one, but I will explain it. I basically cut the back of the tendons, effectively crippling the person from being able to walk, stand or even run properly." Neji struggled to get up and stand. "What sort of nonsense are you spewing out? You are supposed to be fighting." Naruto said, "Ah, but I am. This is not only a battle of strength, but a battle of wits as well. You are trying to win a battle of strength, but I am winning a battle of wits and strength at the same time." Neji moved to attack the boy, but then Naruto grabbed his wrist and pressed on his collarbone. Searing pain went through his body as he knelt down and Naruto smirked, "On your knees, I want you to beg for forgiveness." Neji shuddered at the tone he heard in Naruto's voice. Now, this is another method of torture, the most famous and ever useful pressure points. Now there are points that can cause hyperextension, rise or fall of blood pressure, energy, concussions, breaking of bones and most importantly, pain. Such as applying pressure on your collarbone is making you kneel to the ground like so. Next, Naruto moved to the area where the ear and neck connected, making Neji move sharply up in the air. While pressure to that area causes you to stand, pressure to the shoulder causes you to move back. Naruto pressed the point to the shoulder, making him move back. He jabbed Neji in the abdomen. That move causes you to twist around and away from the pain. Neji moved backwards, but Naruto came toward him again. Now, a blow, let's say an elbow or a fist. Then the Jinchuriki planted a fist to the solar plexus, making Neji kneel to the ground, gasping for air. "Now if I had hit any harder, I would have knocked you out, but I want you to suffer a little longer. Now if I apply pressure to your temple, nose or your testicles, if you have any that is, it will cause you a lot of discomfort to you." Naruto grabbed Neji's nose and temple and pressed it, making Neji scream in pain. "Yes, scream for me, bitch." Neji screamed in pain, making the audience wince at the cruelty. Then Naruto kicked him squarely in the chest, making Neji roll on the floor. It is a good thing that Hinata is not watching this. Now another method of torture. This one dates to the end of time, but first, Ninpu, Genwahi no Jutsu. Neji was blinded by a flash of chakra and when he opened his eyes, he found himself against the wall and kunai was stabbed into his wrists and feet. Naruto said, "Crucifixion, used by the Romans when they tried to kill Kami's son, Jesus, hurts, doesn't it? You see, because of the kunai in your body, your whole body weight is straining on your wrists, making you use more of your energy to hold yourself up. Now if that doesn't kill you, the blood loss from your feet and wrists will make you weaker, plus the infection, then the sepsis, the dehydration, and then you die slowly by the cause of asphyxiation. You know what that means. You die, making you feel that you have been smothered or slowly you are being choked to death. I can leave you for hours and then you will die, so we are going to play the waiting game and oh, don't even bother trying to dispel this genjutsu. You need a lot of chakra to do so and overwhelm the user with it. Needless to say, I have more chakra that you do, Neji Hyuga. Well, this should satisfy me a bit. I get to pretend that you die. Hinata is very grateful that I let you live and you get to experience the pain that Hinata felt." Neji gritted in pain. "You bastard." Naruto said, A bastard is a child that is born to parents that have never been married. My parents were married in secret only in presence of the Hokage and my godfather, whose name I will not reveal at this moment, and I think that another hour should hold your tongue. Hours passed and Neji slowly was in agonizing pain, his mouth was dry and he was sweating hard. Naruto below him was drinking some juice. Thirsty. Neji. The loss of blood tends to do that to you. Neji panted out. You. Naruto said. No, I prefer women in that case, Neji-san. Now hurry up and die so we can continue on to the next phase. Sarutobi thought. Amazing, he is just like Ibiki and Anko with a bit of himself in the mix. To think he is able to create a persona so different from himself. All the pent-up anger and frustration is mixed into that persona, the librarian. The Cage thought, I like this kid, he is almost as sadistic as me. Azumo said, this kid is interesting. He basically beat the Hyuga using only psychological torture, then used genjutsu to subdue him along with a ninjutsu to cause him pain. If this keeps up, Naruto may have become the winner of this match. Kotetsu agreed with his friend, I agree, we seriously underestimated this kid. To think he would be able to cause a stoic Hyuga to lose reign of his emotions. Naruto said, finally he dies. Kai. Neji knelt to the ground as he panted. Naruto looked up at him over the brim of his book, oh, you are still up, how was dying mental-wise, I mean? Neji said, you are going to die slowly and painfully, Uzumaki. Naruto replied, really? Neji said, you are going to die slowly. Too bad Hinata-sama won't see your demise, she will be very heartbroken and I will have a smirk on my face as she cries out over your grave. Naruto said, now you see, that is a bit of a problem, for you, I mean. Because 1, I am not going to die since I have hardly broken a sweat and 2, I am seriously going to kick your UP and down this arena for that comment. Prepare to be ass-raped, Hyuga. Neji cried out as he slid into a stance, Hake, Rokujin Sho. Naruto rose an eyebrow and said, ah, the famous ultimate technique of the Hyuga, but I thought that was only for the main house to use, unless you were able to recreate the move on your own. Neji attacked him, 2 palms. The Jinchuriki dodged his attacks and Neji grimaced, 4 palms. Naruto moved with a smirk on his face as Neji shouted, 8 palms. Now Naruto was dodging with his eyes closed, making Neji frustrated, 16 palms. 32 palms. 64 palms. Naruto grabbed his hands and Neji was in shock, what? The Jinchuriki grinned, my turn. The Hyoten Jinchuriki kneed Neji in the stomach. Then he gave Neji an uppercut, making the boy flip in the air. Neji grunted in pain, but Naruto did give him the chance and punted him away. Neji got up only for Naruto to appear in his face and Naruto had a murderous look in his eye, time to repay for the damage you did to Hinata. The Jinchuriki took his time, beating the shit out of the angst Hyuga. The crowd watched in utter silence and winced as Naruto's blows landed on Neji. Neji was sent face forward on the ground and soon a few minutes later, he was screaming his head off. The reason was that he found that his was on fire for some reason. Turns out that he noticed that Naruto had a hot poker in his hand that was still glowing with the label, property of Uzumaki. What the hell? Now branding is another unique torture, but it is only used for animals. Now that mark is going to hurt from 3 to 5 weeks. Neji struggled to stand from the searing pain and Naruto said, no, you stand down. Naruto sent an elbow to Neji's jaw, then lifted his left leg to kick Neji in the chest. Then Naruto sped to appear behind Neji and smashed his fist into his side. Neji clutched his side as Naruto sent a flying kick to the face. Hey, Neji, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Naruto asked. Neji looked up as Naruto answered him with a backhand slap. Slap, shouted the Jinchuriki. Neji twisted into the air and fell to the ground hard and Naruto said, come on, get up. I dare you to get up. Neji's pride caused him to stand and gave Naruto the opportunity to kick Neji's deep into the ground. Neji's head would often jerk in every direction as Naruto sent every punch and kick. Naruto shouted, "Guess what, Neji?" Neji looked up and received a hit in the face, making the Hyuga fly into the wall. Naruto smirked as he said, "You should have had a V8." Neji fell to the ground. His body ached and felt that it was in flames. He knew that some bones were broken, but Naruto knew the severity of Neji's injuries. Every one of Neji's 206 bones were at least fractured or broken, satisfying him enough to stop Neji's torment. Then the Jinchuriki walked towards Neji. "Neji Hyuga, you were famed as a natural genius. You were marked with the caged bird seal at the age of 4 when Hinata turned 3 at the time, also the same time when Cloud sent an ambassador to make a treaty, but that ambassador also had a mission to capture one of the main family members. The most helpless happened to be Hinata. Hiashi was able to kill him with one hit before he was able to escape. When word reached Kumo, they declared that they had no part in it and had demanded Hiyashi's body as compensation. The Hyuga agreed to this to avoid war, but there was a slight change in the plan. Since your father, Hisashi Hyuga, looked like your father physically, the Hyuga elders and your father agreed that Hisashi would die in the place of Hiashi to avoid war and to have the Byakugan safe from Kumo's hands. Because of your belief that the main family forced your father into death, you became bitter and the misconception of it caused you believe that fate bullshit and the grudge against the main branch increased. 8 years later, you graduated as the Rookie of the Year and at some point, Guy also talked to you about your animosity toward the main branch. What are you getting at? I am getting to that. I happened to find out that the current Raikage owes my mother a favor. I call that favor in as her son. I requested your father's body to be escorted back to Konoha in 3 days' time. Hiashi and Neji were shocked at this revelation. Naruto said, the current Raikage thought that the Sandaime Raikage was a fool to try and take the Byakugan. He believed that people don't need bloodlines to prove that they are strong. Only courage and determination can make a ninja strong. He gave me his word that the body is still preserved and unharmed. So why did you do this for me? As much as I want to kill you right now, there is only one person holding me back. That person is your cousin, Hinata Hyuga, the person you tried to kill. That is right, the person that you blame for your father's death is the one who is saving you from meeting the same fate. Hinata spared me. Shocking, isn't it? You have no idea how pissed I was after that. Hell, before that your teammate, Tenten, practically was begging in a sense for me to spare you. She was also the one that told me the story about your father. Now I am going to repeat the same statement that I said to her. What would be that statement, Uzumaki? If your father had the caged bird seal on his forehead and he had to make a choice, to allow his son and brother to live by sacrificing his own life or allow his brother to die, and the Hyuga clan would cease to exist, much like the Uchiha clan. Your father was never able to decide for himself in his entire lifetime. What I think is that your father did hate the Hyuga clan for its slavery, but his love for his family was even greater than that hate. He chose to die, not for the Hyuga clan, but for his family. Neji was silent for a moment and thought about Naruto's words while he was lying on the ground. It made sense. The ability to be free from the seal was to die, and his father found that freedom. At the same time, he did it for a cause, to save his family. Now I will expect you to apologize to Hinata as soon as you are well, Neji. Oh, and if you want to repay me for your father's body being returned, take Tenten on a date. It is not right to keep a lady waiting. She does care about you. If you haven't noticed that I mentioned that she tried her best to make me spare your life. The boy was about to walk back upstairs and turned his head to the side to look at Neji, and Neji, please get that stoic stick out of your and lighten up. Matter of fact, all of the Hyuga clan need to lighten up. Maybe that is the reason they are so paranoid about the Byakugan. Hiashi gave a slight chuckle at Naruto's statement while Hanabi was a bit livid at the Jinchuriki. Genma shouted, "Winner! Uzumaki Naruto!" Naruto called out, "Haku, can you take care of Neji?" The girl used a shunshin and immediately began to heal Neji. Naruto-kun, you need to hold back next time, almost all of his bones are fractured and luckily a few are broken. The only thing that you left intact was his head. He scratched the back of his head. I told you. I was going to make him pay. At least he is not missing a limb. I originally planned to cut off his toes. Neji thought with a sweat drop behind his head. Note to self: never try to kill any of Naruto-san's friends or he will become very sadistic. Once Neji was cleared, Naruto looked up at Gaara, who in turn stared back at him. The Jinchuriki pointed his finger at the red head. You're next, Sabaku no Gaara. Temari and Kankuro were shocked at Naruto calling him on, and when they looked at Gaara, their shock took a turn for the worse, for Gaara of the desert, the Jinchuriki of the Ikibi no Shukaku, was smiling. Uzumaki, if Uchiha can't acknowledge my own existence, you will be the next one to do so, he whispered. Genma called out, next match will be Uchiha Sasuke versus Sabaku no Gaara, will the two contestants please come forward? The Kikaichu expelled out of his sleeves rapidly and circulated around his persona to converge into a spinning sphere. Natsumi shouted, Kandangan. She aimed a shot at Shino's bug sphere and it crashed against with the sphere with a resounding boom, fire spreading across the land. Natsumi waited until the smoke cleared to show a huge hole in the sphere, but there was no Shino at all. Suddenly Natsumi grew tense and a hand shot out of the ground to grab her ankle. Doden. Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. Natsumi was dragged down into the earth and Shino popped out behind her. So you did a Mushi Bunshin and substituted with it from the start, then you used Doden, Dochu Igyo no Jutsu to wait until I fired my technique. Impressive, Aburame-san, but don't think that I am down for the count just yet. Shino said in a monotone voice, I wouldn't think so, considering you are an enigma to me. You didn't show much at the preliminaries, so logically it is bad to underestimate you, Natsumi. The girl smirked. Yes, it takes much more to bring me down. Then a pillar of fire burst from Natsumi's position, freeing her from her earthly prison and caused Shino to jump back from the searing heat. Feel the heat. Heki Mayaku. Natsumi levitated in the air with the fire surrounding her in a sphere. She curled up into a ball and then with a quick move, she spread her arms and legs out, causing the flames to expel into a ring from her body. Naruto thought, her power over Kaden manipulation is unreal. Does she have an unnatural affinity over fire or is it a bloodline limit of hers? As if she read Naruto's mind, Natsumi stated, this is my bloodline, dancing flames. Long ago, my clan was bestowed the power of the phoenix for saving its life. Unfortunately I am the last of my clan due to my clan being corrupted with greed and the holy fire consumed them from within. I see, the Aburame said. Now let's continue. Nensho Arashi. She gathered up her flames into a compressed ball and casted her hands in typical Kamehameha fashion towards the Aburame air, but Shino flipped through hand signs quickly, Doden, Doryuheki. A wall of earth appeared blocking the flames and Shino thought as he put his back to the wall, she is good with her bloodline, I can't get close to her or fight with her at long range with my Kikaichu or my weapons. I must get to her and engage her at close range. Suddenly Natsumi's hand burst through the wall beside Shino's head, startling him for a moment and made Shino do the Tori hand sign, Doden, Doryuso. Natsumi jumped into the air to avoid the earth spikes that threatened to spear her from the ground, seeing Shino looking up at her from his position and then a shadow appeared above her. What? Haijutsu? Kikaichu no Yari. Shino shouted as the Kikaichu that surrounded his hand, converged into a spear and the bug weapon impaled Natsumi through the torso. She coughed up blood and the Kikaichu surrounded her body. As she fell to the ground, the Shino that was by the wall dissipated into destruction bugs to converge on her and soften her descent to the ground. Finally I got you in my clutches. Shino said, there is no escape. Then he thought to himself, that was close, considering that I did 2B ranked jutsu in succession, thank the Yondaime for his chakra storage seals. Suddenly the bug coffin began to smoke and exploded into a huge flare, launching the Aburame heir into the wall. Impossible. My Kikaichu should have eaten her chakra in seconds. Shino said to himself. Sure enough, Natsumi panted as she said, well, that was lucky of me. I had to use my solar flare technique to get those little critters off of me, or you would have won. Shino replied, I would have, but with over half of my colony destroyed, I can't risk my colony being killed. I can't seem to win this battle, Proctor, I forfeit this match. Genma nodded and said, Shosha by forfeit, Natsumi of Takigakure. Natsumi fell to her knees, panting, and Shino handed her a solider pill. Natsumi mumbled her thanks and ate it, and then Shino helped her up to the stairs. Now will Shikamaru Nara and Sabaku no Tamari please come down? Genma said with his senbon, poking out of the side of his mouth. Tamari looked at Gaara for a minute and glanced at the private cage booth. Naruto thought, Tamari-san seems to be nervous about something, and it involves Sasuke and the appearance of Orochimaru. She was so confident when she faced off with Tenten. Tamari let out a sigh and swung her fan open, and then she flew down to the ground. Genma said, well, you're eager. Oi, Shikamaru, get down here. Shikamaru thought, what the hell? My match is now. Man, maybe I should forfeit. Suddenly Naruto kicked Shikamaru over the railing, making the shadow user fall unceremoniously on the ground. Shikamaru said, Naruto, when I see you, I am kicking your. Tamari said, come on, get up. Are you going to just lie down all day? Shikamaru thought, I got stuck with a girl again. Tamari ran at him, if you won't come, then I will. Genma said, hey, the match hasn't started. Tamari didn't hear him and crashed the iron fan on Shikamaru, but the lazy boy quickly took out 2 kunai and embedded into the wall behind him. You know, she looked up to see Shikamaru standing on top of the kunai with his hands in his pockets. I hate to fight and I don't care about being Chunin, but I can't stand losing to a woman. So I'll guess I will take you on. He said with a grin. Tamari smirked as she opened her fan and blew a wind strike at him. Smoke billowed and Tamari looked in the corner of her eye. Well, he's great at running. Naruto shook his head while smirking. No, Shikamaru may be lazy, but he hides his potential. He is able to think ahead at every possible situation and makes strategical moves against his opponents, but most likely he is going to win, but quit. Tamari thought, okay, he is a ninja that uses shadows and probably trying to lure me into the trees. Like I will fall for that. Shikamaru lazily thought, oh man, those clouds are lucky, so free. I really don't feel like doing this. I just became a ninja so I wouldn't be bothering, but I suppose, that things are not that simple. Tamari thought, what the hell? Is he mocking me with that smile of his? She shouted, swinging her fan, Ninpu, Kamedachi no Jutsu. The wind blew harshly in the arena. Tenten thought, that move was the one that knocked me out cold. Shikamaru has his hands full. Suddenly a shadow line appeared, rushing toward Tamari, who moved quickly backwards until the shadow started to shrink. Hey, there is a limit to how much you can shrink, stretch or change your shadow, isn't there? You can't stretch it any further than your normal shadow's surface area no matter how you change it. Shikamaru chuckled, that's right. Tamari then closed her fan and measured the distance, 15 meters and 32 centimeters. He can use other shadows, but he can't control them, so he is using the shaded area to increase his length. But unfortunately no matter if he goes to the edge, the length will be the same. Kankuro said, Tamari is better at long-range fighting, this match is over. Naruto smiled, nope, not yet. Shikamaru crouched and formed his thinking pose. Naruto said, even though his grades were as bad as mine, he often said that he was too lazy to pick up his pencil to write, but he loves to play shogi a lot. Whenever he gets in a tight spot, he assumes that pose. His sensei Asuma gave him an IQ test in shogi form and found out that his IQ is over 200, he is a freaking genius. Kankuro said, so he might win, not quit. Naruto answered, we will see, he is out of his pose now. Tamari commented, so it looks like you are finally getting serious now. Ninpu. Kamedachi. Shikamaru moved to cover in the trees and took off his shirt. It is no use trying to hide. Stop running or give up. Suddenly two kunai were thrown. Tamari dodged only to get in the path of another. She blocked it with her fan and a series of explosions were sounded in front and behind her. He attached explosive tags. She thought, he is trying to distract me. Then Shikamaru's shadow sprang in action. Tamari thought, nice try, but your shadow can't pass this line. Wait, hold on, shit. The shadow, sure enough, passes over the line, making the wind user sprang backwards yet again. I see, she stated, you use those kunai as distractions to keep me occupied while the sun moves, giving me more leverage. This should be your limit now. Shikamaru said nothing, staring at her, and Kankuro shouted, Tamari, above you. She looked up to see a makeshift parachute made out of Shikamaru's shirt and a kunai attached to the bottom of it. Son of a. Tamari cursed as she dodged the growing shadow. You will not escape, Shikamaru declared. Tamari moved as she thought, impressive, using the kunai to distract me from his shadow and then using his shadow to distract me from looking up and noticing the parachute, but it's clear to me now. The shadow stopped and receded back a bit, so Tamari stopped and flipped open her fan and placed it in front of her. I need to finish this quickly. His shadow will move farther as the sun moves, so I will use Bunshin no Jutsu, which will draw his attention to it. Then I will jump out and use all my chakra into the strongest possible Kamedachi to rip him apart. Now where is his shadow? Good, it's nowhere near me. Tamari thought, initiating attack. Bunshin no. Suddenly she froze and thought, what? I'm frozen. Shikamaru sprang his hands apart, finally Kajimane no Jutsu success. Tamari said, but your shadow was nowhere near me, how did you get me? Shikamaru said, I let you look behind you. He turned his head and Tamari under his jutsu spell did the same. Tamari's eyes widened as she saw a hole behind her and sure enough, his shadow connecting to hers. When you use the Kamedachi jutsu, you loosed some of the gravel in where Neji was at, thus I used those kunai wrapped with an explosive tag with a little extra kick, making a hole in front and the back of you. The two made a tunnel and then I lured you over to this spot with all of those distractions and failed successions like my little puppet. Tamari gritted her teeth while Shikamaru said, checkmate. Naruto said, wait for it. Ino shouted, go. Shoji munched ferociously as Shikamaru and Tamari walked towards each other, then they both raised their hands as the shadow wielder said, that's it. I quit. Ino said, huh. Shikamaru said, those failed successions used up my chakra. I had thought up over 200 moves and I'm getting tired of this, one match is enough for me. Plus I can only hold you for about 5 more minutes. Genma shouted, winner. Sabaku no Tamari. Naruto looked around and mused to himself, well, that was a long fight and still the Tem ain't here. Oh, well, better congratulate them. The Uzumaki jumped into the arena and walked towards Shikamaru and Tamari. That was a good match, Shikamaru, Tamari-san. Thank you, Naruto-san. Tamari said rather quickly and moved to the stairs. You noticed too, huh? Shikamaru said seriously. Yeah, Tamari is the only one of the group that is fighting except Gaara is a nervous wreck. Tamari just confirmed it, something is going on here. That and look in the middle of the stands in the corner of the 3rd row. Shikamaru peered in the stands and said, what are the Anbu Black Ops doing here? I have no idea. Well, I actually do. Have you ever heard of Orochimaru? Yeah, one of the Sannin, but he is an S-rank criminal. He's back, we fought him back in the Forest of Death, he was disguised as a Kusa Kunoichi. Apparently, he wants to destroy Konoha and he wants Sasuke for some reason. Troublesome Uchiha, and I thought you caused too much trouble. If that is true, then maybe Suna and Oto are connected, they maybe plan to invade. It makes sense, Our guard is down because of the exam and Suna is one of our allies. Wait. How do you know that Orochimaru is with Oto? The village is new and very small, meaning Orochimaru just now established it. Second, we overheard the sound team trying to find you. They mentioned that Orochimaru wanted them to test Sasuke's strength. Third, nobody thinks that Oto is a threat to them. Alright, Shikamaru, should we tell the genin about it? No, it will only cause panic. You are the most level-headed out of all of us besides me. Suddenly the leaves started to twist around, making the audience shield their eyes. Naruto smirked. Funny, you're late as always. Kakashi-sensei. Never figured that Sasuke would inherit your tardiness though. The Uzumaki turned around to see that Kakashi and Sasuke were standing back to back. So Dobi, what's with the get-up? I should ask you. Never thought that you would wear spandex. Are you slowly converting to the power of youth, Sasuke-chan? HMPH, no matter. You still haven't changed. Yeah, just don't get killed. I still gotta kick your. Naruto grabbed Shikamaru and disappeared in a swirl of sparkling ice. Sasuke growled at Naruto's departure, but looked over at Gaara at the stairs. The next match. Sabaku no Gaara vs. Sasuke Uchiha, begin. Sasuke said, fine, you ask for it. He quickly drew 2 shuriken and threw them at Gaara. The Suna Jinchuriki's absolute defense caught the shuriken while making a Suna Bunshin. Sasuke took the time to charge at Gaara, but the Suna Bunshin's torso suddenly surged forward to meet the Uchiha. Sasuke jumped forward in the air and the Suna Bunshin flicked his own shuriken at him. The Uchiha was forced to return the shuriken and kicked at the Suna Bunshin's crossed arms. The arms blasted off as Sasuke slammed his palms on the ground to right himself on his feet and slammed his wrist into the Suna Bunshin's neck. The clone was in shock, but it started to smirk as the sand seeped over the Uchiha's wrist. The Uchiha quickly dealt a palm strike to blast the Suna Bunshin's head into dust. He rushed through to get to Gaara, but another wall erected to block Sasuke's assault, but Sasuke smirked and Lee's eyes widened in surprise. Gaara's eyes did the same as Sasuke suddenly appeared behind him, fast, just like him. Sasuke drew his fist back and slugged Gaara in the face, cracking his Suna Yoroi and sending the psychotic boy into the ground. Guy was shocked as he thought, he is just as fast as Lee's starting speed and his taijutsu. Lee finished his sensei, unknowingly, as the same as mine. Meanwhile, Naruto and Shikamaru appeared in the stands next to Hana and Sum. Damn, I was a bit off, sorry, Shikamaru. Naruto-kun, nice of you to join us. Hana said with a smile. Hello, Hana-chan, Sum-sama and wait a second, is that Kiba? The identified woman known as Kiba, who now resembled a younger Sum, tried to hide from the gaze of Naruto and Shikamaru. Oh, wow, ain't that a bitch, I knew you two were going to punish him, but this just takes the cake. Naruto continued as he chuckled in full force. Damn, this is disturbing, I am going to find Choji and Ino. Shikamaru said as he left. So how many guys have hit on Kiba-chan? Naruto asked curiously. So far, about 150. Most of them were civilians. Sum reported. Mother. Kiba said in a feminine voice. What? You are like the second daughter that I always wanted, plus it is my job to embarrass you. Naruto turned to Kiba with an intense gaze. Kiba, now do you understand? Kiba glared at Naruto, but wilted under his intense glare and inwardly whimpered due to his power. This is what women have to deal with from perverts and/or persistent males like you used to be. Also, since you will be a woman for 1 more month. Also, I am giving you a warning, avoid Sasuke at all cost because he likes strong women and you fit his description well. Kiba nodded slowly and Naruto left to go to the stands to watch Sasuke battle Gaara. Naruto thought, so Sensei had to use Lee's speed to get past Gaara. No doubt he had to use the Sharingan to visualize Lee's speed. Sasuke moved into the Goken stance as he said, so that is your armor, Come on, I will rip it off. He sped through Gaara, but the sand tried to stop him from the front, but Sasuke veered behind him and twisted through the sand to kick Gaara away. Sasuke taunted, "What's wrong, is that it?" Kakashi thought, "Don't get why now, Sasuke." Sasuke moved in a circle around Gaara and moved inside Gaara's guard to send a kick to Gaara's chin, and then he grabbed his shirt and brought him toward his persona to give him a knee to the chest. "Sasuke, you are a genius beyond imagination. It took me years to reach that speed, but just in only a month, you were able to reach it." Lee thought as he looked at Sasuke, who was panting with exertion. But to keep up at that kind of movement requires a lot of strength. Kankuro thought, "What are you going to do, Gaara? The Suna no Yoroi uses a lot of chakra, you know you can't use for long." Guy asked, "What kind of training did you put him through?" Kakashi answered, "Sasuke had Lee's taijutsu before, so that is why I had trained him in Lee's taijutsu as well. Since he knew Lee and seen his taijutsu in action, he was able to master the style. It was hard work." Shikamaru thought, "Yeah, hard work for a mere copycat." Lee thought, "But just with my taijutsu, it is not enough." Guy thought, "Kakashi, what are you up to? You saw the battle between Lee and Gaara, so you should know that taijutsu will not be enough to defeat him, so why did you have Sasuke focus on taijutsu?" Gaara immediately had his sand encircle him, but the Uchiha ran forward to stop Gaara. Sasuke threw a punch at the sand, only for his fist to suffer by bleeding as the sand globe grew spikes to halt Sasuke's assault. The Uchiha had a cut on his cheek and a gash on his right leg. He fell back as he felt warm blood running down his leg, using all of that sand to protect himself, that it gets so hard when it packed like that, so this is an absolute defense. Soon a third eye appeared, hovering over the side of the sand globe while Gaara sat down and concentrated, chanting a mantra. Tamari thought, "Gaara plans to use that jutsu, this is bad." Sasuke had a shocked look on his face, but then he smirked as he wiped the blood off of his cheek. The Uchiha moved forward and aimed a kick at the shell, it bounced off. "As I thought, it is no good trying to use taijutsu against it, since I can't see what he is up to. Since he is hiding in there, it is a perfect opportunity to test out my new jutsu, since it takes a lot of time too." Sasuke unclipped a button on the black spiral thing on his arm, he jumped up on the balcony and used chakra to stick to the wall. He crouched and Guy's eyes widened, "So that is why you did that?" Sakura said, "Huh," a familiar voice said, "Kakashi-sensei had Sasuke focus on taijutsu and speed since the ninjutsu that he is about to use requires a lot of speed." Everyone turned to see Naruto approaching them. "Hey, Naruto, congratulations on your match today," Ino said. "Thanks, Ino. Hello, sensei, I assume you taught him that jutsu." Yes, I did." Guy said, "You didn't." Kakashi said, "I did." Ino asked, "What jutsu is that?" Kakashi said, "It is my original jutsu that I made when I was 12, the lightning blade, the Reikiri." Naruto said, "Yeah, but this Reikiri sounds different, this one sounds like chirping birds." Kakashi said, "I didn't teach him Reikiri, Sasuke doesn't have enough chakra to use it, so I taught him the predecessor of the Reikiri." Sasuke flipped through hand signs and white electricity burned on his hand. "After all, he is a lot like I used to be." Kakashi said. Naruto thought, "I just hope he changes out of that attitude, or I seriously have to kick his." Sasuke charged downwards towards Gaara's little sand globe. "Well, I will be going to visit Haku-chan, Yane." Naruto disappeared in his specialized sparkling ice shunshin. "It is incredible, you can see the chakra in his hand." Ino thought. Meanwhile inside the sand globe, Gaara was talking to himself once again. "Yes, I am going to rip off his head, then crack it open, so the brain can spill out, the head, then tons of blood will flow out, you can have it all, mother. Kyahahaha, aren't I such a good boy, mother? I am always a good boy. Yeah, let's do it, mother. I will be watching." Guy muttered, "A simple stab." Ino said, "What?" Guy explained, It's a technique created solely for assassination. The speed of the stab and the large amount of chakra concentrated to create the heightened flesh combined makes the sound of chirping birds. Sakura said, so if it is not called the Reikiri, then what is it? Guy said, the jutsu is called Chidori. At the moment the word escaped Guy's lips, Sasuke had burst through Gaara's defense. Kankuro said, no way, has Gaara's defense been breached? Tamari said, that is impossible. Guy said, since the speed of the user and the amount of concentrated chakra focused in one arm, then it becomes like a sword. If any other user were able to use this, they would have experienced tunnel vision. But the Sharingan helps this matter, which is why only Sasuke is able to use this jutsu to its full potential. Lee thought, I see, I wouldn't be able to run at that speed straight at my opponent, because it is easier to make a counterattack and I don't possess the Sharingan to see the counter. I'm jealous of you, Sasuke. My sense of superiority came when I defeated you since your body couldn't keep up with my speed, but now you have that speed including the Sharingan. Sasuke said, I got you now, Sabaku no Gaara. Inside the globe, Gaara asked, what is this warm stuff? Mother, what did, UWAAAAAA. It's my blood. My blood. Suddenly Naruto felt a cold shiver run up their spine and immediately knew that Gaara was using the demon's chakra. Sasuke felt something crushing his arm and had to use the Chidori to free himself. Gaara screamed again as Sasuke pulled his arm back to have a strange-looking arm with blue veins running across it. Kankuro became fearful as he thought, there is no mistake, it's his arm. Guy asked, what is that? Kankuro whispered, did he attain his complete form? Tamari whispered back, I don't know, it looks like Uchiha wounded him, this has never happened before. Sasuke peered inside the hole and gasped as he saw an eye glaring at him. It was amber with an inverted four-pointed star with 4 dots in a square-like fashion. I am getting chills just from the memories from the first time I saw it. I couldn't eat for weeks after seeing that thing. Kankuro thought in fear. Genma's body started to quiver. What's this feeling? Suddenly the sphere started to crack and revealed Gaara clutching his right shoulder. I knew it. The cocoon was broken before he could transform fully. Tamari thought. Sasuke thought. No, it wasn't those eyes. What was that thing that was looking at me earlier? Suddenly feathers started to fall down and the audience started to fall asleep. Minutes before the invasion started, Naruto appeared in Haku and Hinata's room. Hey, Haku-chan, Hinata-chan. Did you like the fight? Haku giggled. I enjoyed it, though I never knew a Hyuga could change into so many shades of red at once. The Jinchuriki smirked. I am sure that Hinata-chan can show you. Hinata blushed. Naruto-kun. He kissed her forehead, making her face turn red. I kept my promise. Your cousin has been set straight and I loosened the ice pick up his be kicking his. Hinata giggled a bit and motioned Naruto to come closer. He obliged and Hinata, in a bold move, launched a full assault on Naruto's lips. The Uzumaki was surprised and then kissed back with Haku smiling as she looked on. Strawberries with a hint of vanilla. You have been practicing with Haku-chan, huh? Hinata blushed as she meekly nodded. It was taking me a while to build up my courage and get used to kissing Haku-chan. I was right to have Haku be near you. You are hardly stuttering, you are a bit more confident and make me want another kiss from you. He kissed her again and then broke off, but that will have to wait a while. Haku, what is Hinata's condition? She is in almost pristine condition, but she shouldn't move that much to damage her organs. Why? Because Suna and Oto will be invading Konoha today. But Suna is our ally. Why would they do such a thing? Hinata asked in shock. It's the perfect cover, plus most of Suna missions were sent to us. I need you to go with Haku. She will protect you when it happens. Haku asked. What will you do? I will have to fight and defeat Gaara. He is a Jinchuriki, a demon container, like me. What? Hinata asked. Yeah. Gaara holds the Aikibi no Shukaku, but whoever sealed the damn thing did a ed-up job, plus I have a strong feeling that he lived the same life as mine, only worse. That is the main reason that he seems insane. So, that means that Sasuke-san will be killed if you don't stop him. Naruto nodded silently and said, that also means that he can release the demon within him if he is pushed to the edge. I have to stop him before that happens. Hinata said, then go, but come back in one piece. I just got you and I will bring you back and kill you myself if you die. The Uzumaki smiled, thanks, Hinata. I will be back. Then the explosion was heard and Naruto said, it has begun. Konoha, prepare, for glory. After Naruto and Haku parted ways, Haku, with Hinata on her back, sprang out as she saw the oncoming destruction coming at her. Haku-chan, soon a ninja at your right, 3 o'clock. Hinata warned. The Ice Princess took a look out of her peripheral vision and flung Senbon at their necks, hitting their points for a death state. Suddenly a sound ninja came at her. Well, what is this? A Hyuga girl and a princess, you will be perfect for my slaves. Hinata glared at him and Haku took her sword from her side, not a chance. Hyouten. Supuranta say. Haku gathered Hyouten chakra in her mouth and shot out ice shards, making the sound ninja dodge a bit, until he slowed down to a few of them hitting him and the shards began to sting his body. One was able to hit his eye and he screamed in pain. Then Haku sprang over to slice him from the waist down and moved forward as Hinata turned off her Byakugan to not witness the aftermath. Finally she reached the academy to see someone that she recognized. Uruka-sensei. She shouted. Haku-chan. Hinata-chan. Uruka said. Can you please take care of Hinata for me? I will need to get back in the fray. The former apprentice of Zabuza said. Sure. I will take good care of her. Haku, go. Uruka said as he was handed Hinata and escorted the academy students to the safety of the Hokage monuments. Then Haku was off in a sparkling ice flash and appeared in the middle of the stadium, and then she was surrounded by several enemy ninja almost immediately. She smirked and said, Hyouten, Hyo Bunshin Dabakua. Her body began to let off a soft glow of an eerie blue and exploded into ice shards, maiming and or killing ninja that were close to her. Naruto ran out of the corridor with Oathkeeper and Oblivion in hand, killing Odo ninja left and right. His first priority was to find Shikamaru and he found the Nara lying on the ground near Ino, Choji and Sakura's position. To his surprise, the Haruno was awake and while an Odo ninja was poised to kill her from behind, the Jinchuriki moved quickly to behead him. You know, flinching and covering your eyes are not going to make people that want and were trained to kill you stop. He stated, looking at her with a bit of blood on the side of his cheek. Naruto. You're welcome. Now stay down until we cleared the area a bit. Sakura nodded and Naruto went back into the fray. He kicked one of the sand ninja in the face and then spring-boarded off of it to fly over the heads of the Odo group that was surrounding two unnamed Chunin. Hyouten. Hyorin. Naruto said as he slammed the points of his swords into the ground and an ice ring appeared beneath the Odo ninja's position. The ninja blinked and shrugged as they menacingly moved, only to shatter into pieces like a broken ice sculpture. Thanks, Uzumaki. One of the Chunin said. You are welcome. Try not to get surrounded again by moving erratically, it works. Then the Jinchuriki said, Tukatsu Ryu, Kuroi Fuchi. He flashed through the area, giving a cut on a group of men and then sheathed the swords quietly with a ring. The men that he had cut fell to the ground into darkness and if someone had touched them, they would have discovered that they were cold like absolute zero. The explanation behind the move Dark Abyss. Naruto planted a cut that injects Hyouten chakra into the body. Cold air rushed quickly throughout the body, causing the heart to beat slowly and then stop, hence a painless death into the black abyss. Kakashi said, Naruto. Yeah, Kaka-sensei, what do you need? Naruto said as he threw a Senbon into one enemy ninja's throat. Sasuke has gone in pursuit of Gaara and his team. I am going to need you to retrieve him along with Shikamaru. One of my trackers will be going with you. Kakashi explained as he sent 3 kunai into one ninja's leg and 2 heads. Sakura said from her position, I am coming too. No, Sakura, it is too dangerous, plus you don't have anything to contribute to this task. Naruto said. Then again, both of you are his teammates, maybe talking to him will do it. Fine, but the only way that Sasuke is going to listen is if someone beats him into unconsciousness. Kakashi replied, this is an A- rank mission, just like the one with Zabuza-san. He cut his finger and flipped through hand signs, Kuchio's no jutsu. He slammed his hand on a person's unconscious back and a small pug appeared, sitting. So the last person is a little dog. Sakura said, shocked. Then the pug answered, don't call me a cute little dog. My name is Pakun. Sakura opened her mouth to speak, but Naruto said, Sakura, don't say anything, let's go, Shikamaru, wake up. I know you ain't sleeping. Shikamaru yelped in pain as Pakun generously helped him open his eyes, by biting his ankle. I didn't want to get involved, besides who cares about Sasuke? Besides Ino and this banshee here, and the council, yay, they do. Personally I could give two shits about that guy, but it is a mission and unfortunately he is part of the village. Now let's go. Naruto said as he stabbed his sword, Hyoten, Hyorin. The wall froze and Naruto kicked it, making the wall have a huge perfect circle hole. Let's go. Shino, you coming? Naruto asked. Shino appeared and said, of course, thanks for letting me. Naruto smirked. Now we wouldn't want you to miss all the fun. Did you resupply your colony? Shino nodded and the 5 ninja moved out the hole. Guy asked, do you think that they will be alright? Kakashi answered, yes, they will. Pakun and Naruto will keep them safe if they are in too deep. Meanwhile, the Hokage was fighting against Orochimaru in a barrier made by courtesy of the Sound 4. So, Orochimaru, you have come. Sarutobi said. Yes, finally the third will die here in his own home. Sarutobi sighed as he cast off his Hokage robes to reveal his battle armor and Orochimaru chuckled as he discarded the cage robes, and you have your funeral robes on already. Saves the village the trouble to dress you when you are dead. We will see. The 4-armed man replied to his comrades, we better put up a barrier just in case things get a little messy. Right. The 3 of them agreed and then proceeded to put up a barrier until an ice projectile came out from the ground. What the? Orochimaru and Sarutobi shouted. Hyoten. Hyoryu no jutsu. Someone shouted. It was an ice dragon with wings that circled and attacked the barrier. Naruto smirked elsewhere, so Haku came out to play, Seems that she used that jutsu. Who are you? Orochimaru demanded. I'm Haku Uzumaki. You must be the snake pedophile Naruto-kun was talking about. He is right, you are one ugly. Sarutobi stifled a laugh and Orochimaru growled, I will teach you to make a fool out of me. Ninpu. Seniyashu. Snakes came out from his sleeve, but Sarutobi stepped in and said, Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The snakes were destroyed and Orochimaru forced to switch with a mud clone he made earlier. Leave Orochimaru to me, Haku-chan. Try to disable the barrier. Haku nodded and attacked the nearest one, which was Jirobo. Ninpu. Daiguren Hirenmaru. She used a water summoning scroll and the air surrounded her froze as the dragon formed and let out a huge roar, and then flapped its wings to move down at Jirobo's position. Luckily, the barrier that surrounded him protected him, but it allowed Haku to stab her sword into the temporarily cool barrier to inflict a stab wound to Jirobo's shoulder and the barrier was disrupted. Shit. Sakin said as the other 3 were engaged by the Anbu. Haku thought to herself as she dodged a shoulder strike from Jirobo, it is a good thing that Naruto told me to use a Hyo Bunshin to protect Hinata. Flashback. Haku-chan. Naruto said, I need you to protect Hokage Gigi-san. Why? Doesn't Hinata-chan need protection as well? Yeah, but you can use the Hyo Bunshin to protect her, since its duration can last for about an hour and it can take more hits than the Kage Bunshin. The reason is that I know that Orochimaru has a vendetta against Gigi because he was his sensei. I will need you to go in the building that the booth will be at in the arena because that cowardly snake pedophile will not play fair at all. Alright, Naruto-kun. Flashback ends. Jirobo shouted, "You are in the way. Die." He threw a punch and Haku dodged it to counter with a jutsu. Hyoten. Kori no Hahan. She muttered as an ice shard appeared in her hand and she stabbed him in the kidney, but he narrowly used a kawarimi with the nearest object, which unfortunately had to be Tayuya. Tayuya was surprised as well as Haku, but the ice princess switched upwards to hit her side, making her unable to fight, and luckily, the ice shard didn't nick any vital organs. Tayuya coughed up blood as she held her side. "Jirobo, you fat son of a bitch." She collapsed and Haku caught her before she fell to the ground, face forward. "Damn it. She is losing a lot of blood. I need to move her somewhere safe and quickly." Haku thought as she dropped into the hole and began to heal the girl as she removed the shard from her side. "I am going to kill that bastard. Jirobo, that is his name." Haku thought in anger. Meanwhile in the forest, Sasuke ran for Gaara, only to be stopped by Kankuro. "HMPH, you two will not stop me from fighting him." Kankuro took out his Kugutsu, but then a kunai was thrown at him. "Mind if we join the party?" Naruto asked. "Good, Dobi, you can handle him for me," Sasuke said as he ran off. "Sasuke-kun, wait. Don't just stand there. Naruto Baka, do something. See, this is why I told you to stay with Kakashi. You are completely useless, damn." Naruto said, "Shino, can you deal with these two on your own?" "Yeah, hopefully I can buy some time for Shikamaru to come and help me, considering he should be done with stalling those sound ninja." "Alright, good luck. Come on, Sakura, let's get Uchiha, before he gets himself killed." The two left, but Kankuro tried to stop them until Shino threw kunai at him. "Don't ignore me. If there is something I hate, it is to be ignored." He pulled the strap and the bandages fell to reveal Karasu, clicking ominously. Shino slowly had his Kikaichu bugs moved all over his body. "I am a member of the Aburame clan. Our policy is to never underestimate our opponents no matter how small they are and to fight with our full strength." Kankuro growled, "Bring them on." Kankuro moved Karasu towards Shino and with a flick of his fingers, a hidden blade in its wrist popped out, surprising Shino. The Aburame heir moved away to see the blade sink into the ground in front of him. Shino looked at the blade to see that the area surrounding the blade changed into a light purple color. "The blade is laced with poison," he thought. "I must be careful for any more surprises." Kankuro maneuvered his puppet to attack Shino again. Shino dodged the next hidden blade in the puppet's left wrist and then moved into the trees for cover. Kankuro stated, "It's no use." He had the puppet followed Shino into the brush while the Aburame sat in silence, only hearing the constant chattering and clicking of the puppet. Kankuro found Shino and sent Karasu after him, activating his ribbed blades in the puppet. Shino threw two kunai at it to stop it and the puppet poofed to reveal a log. "Kawarimi," Shino said. "Then where is the, oh, shit." Then he looked down and dodged it by jumping up in the open air, but Karasu followed after him. "Hey, you are making this way too easy," Kankuro commented quietly from his position as he twitched his ring finger and middle finger. The puppet opened its mouth to shoot out two small knives. It hit Shino in his torso and shoulder dead on, making Kankuro pump his fist up. That did it. Suddenly Shino dissolved into a group of Kikaichu bugs, and as the bugs dissolved, the clone gave Kankuro the one-finger salute, making Kankuro shout in shock and anger, "Huh! Those bugs again." Kankuro's eyes widened as he felt a presence behind him. Just in time, he turned to see Shino aim a punch at him, but the young puppet master ducked swiftly and moved away from him. He shouted, "So you made a bug clone and snuck up behind." "Very clever," Shino stated. "It is simple really. I could tell that your strength is long-ranged, not close combat. Furthermore, you have to focus all of your chakra and attention to control that little puppet of yours, which leaves your defense wide open." Kankuro smirked. "Thanks for the tip, but I am just getting started." If you think that it's the extent of my deadly ninjutsu, then you are in for a real treat. You haven't seen half of what Karasu can do. So far, he has been playing it safe. Kankuro reactivated his chakra strings and made Karasu open his elbow joints. Shino backed up in surprise as little purple balls of poison fog were blasted at him. Shino jumped away from the smoke and then suddenly felt weak. Damn, must have inhaled some of the poison smoke. Meanwhile, the attacker hides in waiting for the poison to take effect. I need to finish this battle quickly, looks like I will be a bit late to help you. Naruto. Shino ran to the tree for cover and Kankuro smirked as he saw Shino panting heavily due to the poison's effect. The poison is slowly spreading through his system, now it is time to end this. The puppet shot forward and came up behind Shino, it activated its hidden blade. Shino turned around only to be slashed by Karasu, but the Aburame turned out to be another bug clone. These damn bugs, he should even be moving with that poison in his body. Kankuro thought as he tensed up, searching for a sign of the Aburame. Then he found him, hiding under the tree branch. Ah, there you are. Allow me to put you out of your misery. Kankuro flicked his fingers only for the puppet to creak and resist his commands. Wah, what the? What is going on? What is wrong with it? He thought. Then he noticed some bugs crawling in and out of the joints, making it unable to move efficiently to kill Shino. Shino replied, it's no use, you can't move it now, I ordered the bugs to jam every one of its joints. Kankuro thought, so that was what he was after, he wanted me to attack him so he can get Karasu to stop moving. Now those creepy crawlies are going after my chakra strings, I forgot that those things eat chakra and the strings are leading them right to me. Kankuro snapped his connection and fling it, making the chakra strings flicker in random directions to confuse Shino of his location. He severed the strings himself. Damn, so close. Shino thought as his eyebrows furrowed. Then the Aburame moved from his location and Kankuro detached the head. What he doesn't know that I can re-establish connections to my puppet quickly, which is why I am an expert puppeteer and, so what if you took out Karasu's body, I don't need it since every part of him is a lethal weapon. Karasu's mouth opened to reveal a large needle dripping with poison. Looks like you underestimated me, Bug Boy, for the last time, that poison is enough to knock out an elephant, you're finished. Shino gritted his teeth as he faced the needle head on, but suddenly the head stopped inches above his forehead and dropped to the ground. What? But how did he? Kankuro began to think until he felt something crawling on his hand. He looked down to see the beetles all over his hand. His beetles, they are eating the chakra strings right at the source. Kankuro broke his cover, screaming as bugs slowly covered his body. But, I don't understand, I made sure to cut the strings before they could find me. Shino replied, to answer your question, you were so worried about the beetles in the front that you never noticed the ones approaching you from behind. All this time, they were converging to the beacon on your headband. Kankuro said, to my what? Shino said, when I swung at you earlier, I purposefully missed to plant a beetle on your headband, a female beetle, which lets out pheromones so the males can pick up the scent and converge on it like a homing beacon. Kankuro looked up on his headband, so this beetle on my Hitai-8 is a. Shino said, correct, a female beetle. The Aburame knelt down and moved over to Kankuro to search his body for the antidote and took it. He sat against the tree trunk and waited as he knew that he was unable to battle due to the trace elements of the poison in his body and the fact that Kankuro was his prisoner. Naruto and Sakura, the two, reached Sasuke yet again, and this time, he was facing against Temari. Damn it, Uchiha, Sensei told us to retrieve you before you get yourself killed by Gaara. Now get your over here before I break every single god-forsaken bone in your entire body and drag back to Konoha myself. Sasuke said, shut up, Dobi. I will fight Gaara regardless of what you or Sakura say, this is my fight, stay out of it. He flung Temari at Naruto and ran to Gaara's position. The Jinchuriki growled out and caught Temari, damn it. I am going to kill that bastard. Sakura was staring at Sasuke moving away and Naruto shouted, Haruno, Get that moving. HMPH, instead of trying to stop Sasuke, you let him go. You have the nerve to tell me to do something. Sakura blushed in embarrassment and the Hyoten-wielding boy snorted in disgust. I will stop you, you will not get away and kill my brother. Temari shouted. I don't care about him, I just want that bastard who is going to kill your brother. Naruto replied. Then a figure came up between Naruto and Temari. Naruto-san, I want you to go, that Gaara figure is getting more unstable by the minute and I fear that Uchiha kid will not last against him. Natsumi-san, why are you helping us? Naruto said in concern. Well, my mission was supposed to get the Uchiha's tainted seed in my body to pop out little babies. She replied in disgust, making Naruto grimace and Sakura lost it as she attacked Natsumi in righteous fangirl fury. You will not get Sasuke-kun's seed, it will be mine. Natsumi looked at Sakura and back-kicked her into a tree, making the pink-haired girl knock her head against the tree and fall to the ground. Her descent was blocked by the various branches and Naruto palmed his face, idiot. As I was saying, I rather die, so I am defecting from Takigakure to join your village and I need your help. For what? I am going to need to join your clan, considering that Konoha will try to interrogate for Takigakure's secret location and means of strength. Kyuubi said, Kit, you better agree for now. I can feel more of Shukaku's chakra increasing by the minute. Fine, I will ask more about this, but for now, I agree to the terms. Natsumi said, excellent, now go. The Jinchuriki nodded and moved to Gaara's position along with Pakun. I am going to kill that Uchiha, and now Natsumi-san just plainly said I want to join the clan. He muttered to himself. Pakun said, he is a spoiled brat, even I don't like him after seeing his attitude. He came to see that Sasuke was about to be maimed beyond repair and the Jinchuriki came in with a flying kick, boot to the head, you son of a bitch. So this is what you have become, Gaara. Naruto said emotionlessly and the Jinchuriki turned an eye on Sasuke's form, I will deal with you later. Pakun spoke up, mind you that I am not a battle type. I know, just make sure that Uchiha doesn't move, well, like he can move at this time anyway. Suddenly Gaara sped past him and shouted, Die, Uchiha Sasuke. But he was not able to reach him due to Naruto grabbing him by the tail. Sorry, nobody is going to die here, now get away from the Uchiha. Naruto threw him away from the Uchiha again. The Jinchuriki watched as Gaara turned more into the Shukaku form and said, Damn, you are uglier than before. Gaara replied to that comment with a shout, Suna Shuriken. Naruto flipped through hand signs, Hyoten, Hyuheiki. An ice wall appeared to block the sand shuriken aimed at him and then Naruto continued, Hyoten, Hyaporenken. 100 ice rods hurtled at the Suna Jinchuriki and struck with incredible force. Hehehehe. Good, Uzumaki, good, make my existence worthwhile. Gaara screamed, Futon, Mugen Sajin Datapa. Naruto muttered, Damn, the force of the wind destroyed the ice wall and blew Naruto back into the trees. The Jinchuriki coughed up blood from the side of his mouth and said, Okay, that is it. I am giving you some hands-on experience. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Hundreds of clones appeared to surround Gaara and the Suna Jinchuriki was surprised. Now take this. Uzumaki Naruto Nissan combo, commence operation. The leader shouted. Ma. Ki. Naruto Nissan Renden. Gaara was knocked into the air and the clones each gave him a punch to knock him down to the forest floor. Naruto panted in exertion. Ha, damn, I am tired. Hopefully he is knocked out for good. Then the sand rose up to form the Ikibi no Shukaku with Gaara at the top of his head. Oh, son of a, come on. Naruto shouted in frustration, when are you going to call it a day? Gaara replied, when I kill you, now die, Sabaku Q. Sand rose to surround Naruto into Gaara's signature move, but Naruto flipped through hand signs in the little space, Kuchio's no Jutsu. A summoning plume appeared to reveal Gamabunta. Gaki, what do you want? The Toad Boss said. I need a bit of help with my little buddy over there, Naruto replied. Gamabunta said, so the Shukaku, Oh, well, I guess I can help a bit, hold on, kid. Gamabunta crouched and jumped into the air with his sword, Gamato Suzan. The sword caught Shukaku's arm and was completely severed. Gamabunta's sword flipped through the air to the left of Shukaku and the toad thought, it took all my strength just to sever his arm, this is going to be a problem. Be careful, Gamabunta. Sasuke and Pakun are over there. Naruto warned. Got it. Gamabunta replied. Gaara formed a hand sign as he said, you interest me a lot, Naruto Uzumaki, but this is the end. Tanuki Niru no Jutsu. Gaara's head bowed forward and Shukaku's dull eyes were filled with light. Wahoo! I am finally out. Shukaku looked to see Gamabunta and Naruto, time to die. He raised his claw and pounded his belly as he inhaled, Fuden, Rinkuden. Gamabunta avoided the blast by jumping in the air, Sweden, Teppadama. Shukaku cancelled the water bullet with his air bullet and fired 3 successive blasts while Gamabunta did the same thing with his Teppadama, but he missed one to have it hit him into the stomach. Damn, he put a lot of chakra into it. Gamabunta muttered. Are you able to get close to him enough to let me get to Gaara? If I am able to wake Gaara up, the Shukaku will return back. Yeah, but I don't have anything to hold him with, unless we do a Kanbi henge. A combination henge. Hehe, and I got the perfect henge. Let's go, Gamabunta. Naruto said as he summoned his tenant's chakra. Gamabunta ran at the Shukaku and Naruto shouted, henge. A plume of smoke appeared and an orange claw appeared to reveal the henge of the Kyuubi. Kyuubi smirked. Hey, you do me justice, kid. Now kick Shukaku's. With pleasure. Naruto replied as Gamabunta grabbed some trees with his tails and flung them at the demon, but Shukaku blocked it with his sand, giving Gamabunta the opportunity to hold him. Go, kid, Gamabunta said, muffled. Naruto jumped up on Shukaku's arm and ran toward Gaara, but the sand tried to stop him. Like hell, I will let you stop me. You are going to wake. Up. Naruto slammed his fist into Gaara's head and the boy woke up. No, I just got out. Shukaku screamed out as the light faded from his eyes. Gaara said, you will die. Naruto replied as he said, like hell I will. He gave Gaara another fist, but it was stopped by his sand and the Kyuubi Jinchuriki said, damn it. He gave Gaara a headbutt and the body of Shukaku crumbled down into, sand. The Jinchurikis knelt on opposite trees and Gamabunta thought, hey, a simple headbutt, definitely Minato and Kushina's kid, something that she would do. Well, I better go, seems that I have reached my limit and it also seems that he can handle it. The Toad Boss disappeared along with his sword. Naruto and Gaara panted as they glared at each other, then they jumped at each other and gave each other a punch, but Naruto proved to be the stronger one. They both fell to the ground and Naruto landed on the ground, but Gaara landed on his back. How is he so strong? No, I won't let my existence fade. Gaara shouted, stay away from me. But Naruto said, it hurts doesn't it? The pain of loneliness. We're the same you and I. I've known how you felt so I know what's like to be alone, but I pushed on and found ones I wish to protect and if you try to destroy that I love, I will stop you even if it means by killing you. Then Kankuro and Temari jumped down to Gaara's position while Natsumi appeared beside Naruto. Go, take him, our battle is over, Suna ninjas. Naruto said. Suddenly Natsumi said, watch out. He was pushed out of the way to see a fireball sent at Naruto's previous position. Sasuke jumped down to say, you will give me your, OWW. Pakun came up and bit Sasuke's ankle, allowing Natsumi to knock the Uchiha out. I should have expected that, arigato, Natsumi-san. Naruto said. You're welcome, we better go. It seems that your village is victorious. Natsumi stated. Yeah, let's go, Naruto said as he walked back to the village. Kaden. Karyu Enden. Sarutobi shouted as he breathed out a stream of white fire at the revived first and second Hokages. Tobirama countered by shouting, Sweden, Sujinheki. He spat out water, which formed a wall of water, protecting his brother and Orochimaru. Sweden. Suiryuden no Jutsu. Next, the water formed into a dragon and Sarutobi thought as he flipped through hand signs, Sensei has not changed a bit, Doden, Doryuheki. He spat out mud to harden into a large wall, blocking the water dragon's charge. Hashirama sped toward Sarutobi, who began to launch small fireballs at his former predecessor, but it had no effect. The first Hokage leapt in the air with a flying kick, but Hiruzen quickly blocked it with his forearms. Hashirama used the water to blind Sarutobi to land 2 quick kicks to the face and then a punch to his jaw, sending him downwards to meet his kick. Sarutobi landed on the water's surface as he winced in pain. His power has not waned an inch at all. Suddenly the old man was taken down in the water by Tobirama and he thought to himself, this is getting tough, dealing with you two at once. Soon he elbowed Tobirama in the gut to loosen his sensei's grip on his neck and planted both feet into his stomach, propelling him up to the surface while sending Tobirama into the depths. Sarutobi quickly scampered up the wall like his namesake, but then Tobirama fired small water bullets to make the wall crumble. Sarutobi jumped from falling rock to reach safely at the bottom. Next, the first Hokage acted by making hand signs, Mokuden, Jukai Kuden. Sarutobi whispered, me sideways, Kuchio's no jutsu. As a large forest burst from the roof and Sarutobi had to move as the trees came out to grab at him. You have finally been caught, sensei. Orochimaru declared with a cruel smirk. Finally he struggled in the grasps of the vines and he tried to move his hand to the nearby branch, Kuchio's no jutsu. Come forth, Enma. Suddenly a huge monkey appeared, wearing a tiger pelt vest and a Konoha headband. Its eyes narrowed as it said, Orochimaru, huh? Sarutobi, I told you we should have killed when we had a chance. This is no time for you to remind of that day now, Enma, we have a job to do. Transform into the Kongonyoi, right? Orochimaru's eyes widened and he ordered, go. Don't let that thing transform. Hashirama and Tobirama charged at Enma, but the monkey expertly dodged the punch sent by Tobirama and slammed his fist into the back of the human's head, sending through the trunk. Then he focused on Hashirama, who sent a kick and Enma blocked it only to retaliate with a punch to the face. Henge. The monkey shouted as he disappeared in a white cloud of smoke and then a black and yellow staff flew toward Sarutobi, releasing from his natural bonds. Okay. I am ready. Sarutobi said as he got into a stance while the Hokages on both sides. Orochimaru commented, I will let that one slide, things are starting to get interesting now. He pressed his stomach and the Kusanagi no Tsurugi came out of his mouth. Although I am hard as diamond, Sarutobi, that sword can still hurt me. Enma said in his staff form. I know, Enma, let's go. Sarutobi attacked Orochimaru, making the pole extend downward at Orochimaru. The snake Sanin dodged, but Sarutobi kept after him and launched a series of strikes. Orochimaru struggled to dodge them as he thought, damn it, after all these years, the man still has a bit of fight in him, but he is old and weak. Suddenly Hashirama came behind Sarutobi and the third Hokage ducked as he sent a tag on his leg and knocked him away with his staff. Then Tobirama tripped Hiruzen, but he corrected himself while sending a tag on his arm. Now's my chance, Orochimaru thought as he sprang at his former sensei. He gave him a left, then a right and jumped up to kick him away. Sarutobi fell to the ground and then Orochimaru stood over his unmoving body. Come on, sensei, don't ruin my fun. You are not dead yet. Orochimaru, go to hell. Sarutobi grabbed his arms and used his legs to bring him down to his level, then launched his foot up quickly to Orochimaru's face. Enma acted quickly by sending his arm to Orochimaru's neck and broke it with his strong grip only to reveal that it was a Dotenkage Bunshin. As he appeared, Sarutobi shot out his foot into Orochimaru's chest and launched him away while the Hokages was about to converge. Sarutobi activated the seals to disable them, but then he soon found out that they couldn't be killed by that. So it seems that I would have to do something about the soul or they will just keep on regenerating back. I may have no choice, but to use the fourth jutsu to defeat them. He thought to himself. Soon Tobarama did a hand sign, Sweden, Sweryuban, Hyoten, Ryuso. Small groups of piercing ice spikes were launched at Tobarama and the Nadaime was forced to dodge. Orochimaru said, Yes, I am back, Haku said with a smile, and then she turned to Sarutobi, are you alright, Hokage-sama? I am, child, but you shouldn't be here, you are not on the level of that you are facing. Those two were the previous Hokages of the village, you could be killed. We don't know until we try, Hokage-sama. I know that I may be no match for them, but at least I can provide some help until more ninja arrive. The Anbu are being hard pressed with the bodyguards, so you need all the help you can get. She is right, Sarutobi, Enma said. Those two can regenerate, the only way to get rid of them is to destroy their soul or possibly destroy those tags in their heads, but I can't get close to either one of them due to their teamwork. Haku said as she bit her thumb, I see, then let's try a different method. Kuchio's no jutsu. A large plume of smoke appeared and it slowly revealed a small, purple dragon. What do you want this time, Kyoga? I don't, wait, who are you? The dragon said, I am Haku Uzumaki, your new summoner, I would explain further, but we are in a battle and I could use your help. The purple dragon looked at the three men and said, I see then, fine, then my name is Spyro, the son of Bahamut, I can control fire, lightning, ice and earth. Haku said, using earth and fire would be essential to this battle, Spyro-san. She drew her sword and said, ready. Ready. The girl and dragon charged at the two Hokages. The Shadaime Hokage flipped through hand signs, Mokuten, Mokusatsu Shibari no Jutsu. His right arm transformed into wood tendrils seeking to capture Haku, but Spyro stepped in, I got this one. Dragon's breath. Spyro spat out a stream of flames, burning the wood tendrils to a crisp. Next, the Nadaime came in and attacked Haku, who dodged the punch barely and slashed at Tobarama's cheek, but it healed instantly. Then the man sent his palm into her chest, but luckily she blocked the move with the flat of her blade and was pushed back. Tukatsu Ryu. Sumatai Suigetsu. Haku cried out as she moved in a zigzag pattern and stabbed the ground in front of Tobarama. The ground instantly froze around them and covered both feet, making them unable to move. Next, the Nadaime moved to punch the ground, but Haku caught it and then drove her palm into his face. She made one-hand signs, Hyoten, Isu Qbu. Sure enough, a large ice cube was formed in her hand and she shoved it into Tobarama's head, but he used his forearm to block the attack, freezing it completely. Next, the Nadaime kicked her away and came behind to punch her in the stomach. He began to disappear and reappear to give Haku body shots to wear her down, and then a voice shouted, Reikiri. A loud cry sounded as Kakashi appeared with his signature jutsu in hand to strike down the Nadaime, but he jumped away in time. Hello, Haku-chan. Kakashi-senpai, arigoto gozaimasu. No problem, I can't just let my student's wife get killed before her wedding and honeymoon. Kakashi said with his usual eye smile, and then he grew serious. So we are up against the Nadaime Hokage, Now the odds are even, my lightning techniques are bad for him, but the downside is that it takes a lot of chakra. On top of that, his speed is impeccable, if I had come here as I was, I would have been dead. Thanks to the Kyuubi's infusion of chakra, I am slightly faster and more durable than normal ninja. Haku added, although my ice jutsu is stronger than water, his jutsu are more powerful. As expected from the Hokage, get ready, Haku. Here he comes. The Nadaime sped up toward Kakashi and Haku, who met his charge. Kakashi reached him first and the Nadaime tried to kick him, but Kakashi's Sharingan allowed him to avoid it by flipping over him and he thrust out both feet into Tobarama's back. Tobarama was launched at Haku, who took off his head with her katana and the body fell to the ground. Kakashi said with his eyes narrowed at the reanimating corpse, it looks that we have to find a way to destroy that seal within his head to stop him from regenerating. I will distract him and you, Haku, can use your Hyoten to trap him to freeze his head. That may actually work, let's try it. Kakashi flipped through hand signs, Raiden, Ikazuki Hakai. He slammed his hand down on the roof and sent lightning nature chakra into the roof to raise some of the wooden beams up from the inside, and Tobirama was forced to dodge by jumping away from the rising beams. Suiden. Sukoden. Doden. Doryuheki. A wall composed of bulldog sculptures appeared from the ground, blocking the Nadime's water shark. Then the deceased Hokage turned to see Haku behind him and said, Tukatsu Ryu, Sumatai Suigetsu. Tobirama's feet were trapped with the ice along with Haku's own once again. Sweden. Mizoripa. Tobirama shouted mentally as he spat water in Haku's face. The force of the water was like a waterfall, breaking free from the ice, and Haku was launched backwards. Hyoten. Heiyai Isu. She blew a cold wind draft at Tobirama, who ran at her and slowly began to freeze. Haku took up her sword and said as she slashed downwards, Shatter. The kunai in Tobirama's head was frozen, and when Haku sliced his head, it was destroyed. Tobirama smiled. I thank you, my child, forgive me for doing such a terrible thing. Haku knelt down to the ground. No, prob. The girl couldn't even finish her sentence due to her being completely exhausted. Although she had a lot of chakra due to training and Kyuubi's slight enhancements, the fight took everything out of her. Kakashi caught her in his arms before she fell to the floor. Sarutobi shouted, Kakashi, get Haku-chan out of here now and protect with your life. Hi, Hokage-sama. The monkey transformed back and took Haku into the previous hole where Tayuya was laid unconscious. You have a lot of spunk, Haku. It is not every day that you could hold your ground against the Nadime for a few minutes. Now rest easy, Hokage-sama will take care of the rest. Sarutobi dodged a swipe from Orochimaru and then stepped on the blade. Orochimaru tried to free it only to provide Sarutobi the opening to punch him in the face, sending him flying away. Hashirama was in a difficult position with Spyro. He was very agile and couldn't use his Mokuten to trap him at all due to Spyro's prowess at manipulating fire. Dragon's Whip. Spyro shouted as he whipped his tail, striking at Hashirama's face. Then the young dragon grabbed him, his claw piercing his armor, and began to use his back legs to strike at his torso, ripping into the armor. Hashirama recovered by grabbing Spyro by the horns and threw him away. Mokuten, Jubaku Iso. Spyro was then trapped in a tree-like nest and Hashirama was about to pull Spyro into the ground. A kick met his face. Dynamic entry. Hashirama was sent flying while Guy jumped down. Then he shouted, Dynamic action. Sending out a series of punches and kicks, he destroyed Spyro's natural prison and said, Hello, dragon, my name is Might Guy, the sublime green beast of prey. Thank you for freeing me. I am Spyro, the new partner of Haku Uzumaki, holder of the dragon contract. Just then Hashirama came up toward them and Guy's eyes narrowed. How are we supposed to defeat him? That snake guy pushed a kunai with a tag inside of his head. We have to destroy it, but his head always regenerates in 15 seconds. I need you to give me that interval, Guy-san. Spyro said with his purple eyes staring at the rogue Hokage. I can give you that interval, but I will need some time to get enough power to get there. Alright. Spyro flapped his wings and zoomed through the air as he used flames to divert his attention from Guy, who crossed his arms much like Lee did in his battle with Gaara. First gate. Kaiman, Kai. Second gate. Cumin, Kai. Third gate. Simon, Kai. Fourth gate. Showman, Kai. Fifth gate. Toman, Kai. The man's skin turned red and his pupils were gone white while he was surrounded by green chakra on the outline of his body while blue chakra swirled around him. He sped toward Hashirama and began to press the attack on with his newfound strength. Spyro looked for an opening in the air as Hashirama blocked most of Guy's attacks as he was tossed around like a pinball. Then Guy grabbed his hair and threw Hashirama towards Spyro. The purple dragon spiraled downwards to meet Hashirama and slammed into him, making him fall to the ground. Next, he flew up in the air and then dive-bombed into the roof, crushing Hashirama's skull. As the remains began to form his head, Spyro shouted, "Pyro Blitz!" He blew fire as he ran at Hashirama's fallen body and the flames covered him. The smoke cleared and Hashirama Senju was no more. Spyro sighed in relief as the fight was over and disappeared back to his realm while Guy fell to the ground with his body a bit torn up and said, "Maybe using the gates was a bad idea." "Looks like it is you and me, Orochimaru," Sarutobi said to his former student with Enma in his hand. "Your Jinchuriki is defeated, your army is destroyed and your plan to destroy Konoha along with myself is gone. I can still kill you, old man." Futon. Datapa. Sarutobi used Enma to extend as a pole and flip over the wall, then he let go of it and came down with hidden Senbon in his hand, which he proceeded to stab in Orochimaru's arms and his arms began to turn purple to rake in pain for his student. "What the hell did you do to my arms, old man?" he cried out in pain. Sarutobi smirked. "What? You didn't think I didn't teach Tsunade a bit of what she knows in the medical field? I stabbed those Senbon covered with a poison that inflames the lymph nodes located in your arms. You will not be able to use your arms in a few days, but I happen to include another poison in the matter, permanently taking out your nerves in the arms as well. Your ambition ends here." "Orochimaru-sama," Sakin shouted and he grabbed Orochimaru. "Let's go, we need to retreat for now." Sakin and Jirobo grabbed Orochimaru to leave while Kitamaru provided a distraction to let them escape. Sarutobi said, "Damn, I couldn't kill him." "No, you wasted too much energy in fighting your former teachers, plus you are too old now to take care of him while with that jutsu of his, he is still young and kicking in a sense. Maybe we should leave this in Jiraiya's hands." "Maybe you are right. The best thing I can do is teach most of my jutsu to Jiraiya like I should have done." Enma disappeared back to his realm while Sarutobi was left to survey the damage and the Anbu came down to him. "Lord Hokage, one of our shinobi, preferably the girl named Haku Uzumaki has captured one of the bodyguards that made the barrier that imprisoned you earlier. Keep her under wraps. I don't want the council to hear a word of this and when she is awake, send for Haku. The prisoner will be more inclined to talk to her than anyone else." "Hi," the Anbu said and disappeared to help around the village. Sarutobi thought to himself, "Well, now the worst is over, but I am afraid that Orochimaru will be back to try and destroy Konoha once again, then to kill me probably as well." Naruto woke up to a white ceiling and the constant beeping of his heart. He looked over to his left and groaned at the sun beating on his face and turned away to the other side to see Natsumi watching him and she said, "You're finally awake, Uzumaki-san." The Jinchuriki got up groggily to see her and replied, "I guess I am." The ex-Taki ninja commented, "I have never seen anyone recover that fast, well, except one person." "May I ask whom?" "Her name is Fu. She guards one of Taki's greatest treasures. Trained to kill on sight except the leader, she barely goes out and our people ignored her blatantly for some reason. This Fu must be a Jinchuriki." He thought to himself, "It will be interesting to meet her." "Well," Naruto said as he yanked out the patches of his chest and walked out the door, "we better go see the Hokage, so we can get you to establish as a Konoha ninja." Hokage's office. Naruto and Natsumi went to the roof of the Hokage building, which to Naruto's surprise, it was the only building that was not damaged. Hiruzen was standing while looking over the damage from yesterday. "Hello, Naruto, I would like to thank you for dealing with Shukaku and sending your wife to help me. Because of that, we may have a lead on Orochimaru's whereabouts as well as his plans. Now who is your friend? You remember her, Oji-san. This is Natsumi, hailing from Takigakure and she seeks refuge in Konohagakure to be protected from the council as well as avoiding performing her mission." "Ah, Natsumi-san, I remember. If you don't mind my asking, pray tell what this mission that you had to perform was." "To impregnate myself with the Uchiha's seed. Matter of fact, I was supposed to gain your trust, so I could stay here until I got close to the Uchiha, but after seeing how the Uchiha treat his teammates and fellow comrades have prompted me to rethink my standings in this. I have no family since all of them have been consumed by the flames of my bloodline, making it easier for me to disappear. Hiruzen turned around. I see. He walked over to her and placed his hands on her shoulder, wearing a grandfather-like smile. Let's see if we can't make you one of us. I am to guess that you will be living with Naruto. Natsumi nodded and Sarutobi said, well, that is good, but I am afraid that his apartment will not hold the three of you, so in turn, I will have to relocate you to Naruto's new home, which was owned by your parents. My parents? Naruto said, but you said. I know that I told you that I never met them and only heard them in name, but that is false and I only did it to protect you from the enemies that would have come to kill you as a baby, which is why I decided only to tell you when you reach the rank of Chunin. But, wait a second, I am A.C. Chunin. Of course, you not only showed great skill and quick decisiveness on your battle with Neji-san, you also defeated the trump card of Orochimaru's invasion and indirectly saved my life. Now before I give your jacket, I have to reveal your parents to you. The Hokage took a deep breath and said, I will start with the most difficult one. Your father, in all of his life, he didn't want to place this burden on you and wished that there could have been another way. Your father is Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage, the one who sealed the Kyuubi inside of you. Naruto, along with Natsumi, gasped out in surprise, my father, is the Yondaime. The girl turned to look at Naruto as she thought, I knew, so he is the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, but to be the son of the Kuroi Senku as well. Yes, now his very name struck fear in Iwagakure's hearts and still does to this day. If I had revealed your name to the world, Iwa agents would come to kidnap you to make you a breeding stock to recreate the Hiraishin or worse, kill you, which is why I gave you your mother's maiden name. She was Kushina Uzumaki, the red-hot-blooded habanero and also the second Jinchuriki for the Kyuubi as well. What? Naruto shouted. I thought I was the first. No, you are the third. You see, your mother's clan, the Uzumaki clan, was famous for their sealing techniques and uncanny talent for kenjutsu. The first Jinchuriki, Mito Uzumaki, was married to Hashirama Senju, the Shadaime Hokage, as a further peace treaty between the clans. When Konoha was established, we put the sign of their clan on everything, every jacket carries it. Sarutobi looked up at Minato's carved face on the Hokage monument. After that, several villages conspired to take down Uzugakure and they succeeded. Now your clan may have its members scattered across the countries, but your mother, the heiress, was sent here to become the next Jinchuriki. She met Minato and they fell in love and had you, but suddenly something happened with her and I am guessing that Orochimaru had found some way to free the Kyuubi. So Minato was forced with the decision to let innocent people die or sacrifice his own life to save it. Sarutobi looked at Naruto. The obvious result of his decision is you, Naruto. When the Kyuubi was under the influence of Orochimaru's genjutsu, the result of it was your father and mother impaled on his claw by accident since he wasn't in control of himself. They loved you very much, Naruto, so much that they gave their lives for you to live, only with the regret of not being able to take care of you, and I am sorry that I had to keep this from you for so long. Naruto said quietly, Ji-san, can I have some time to think? Take as much time as you want, Naruto, you have earned it and much more. Sarutobi said, just remember that in 3 days, we will have the funeral. The boy nodded and did his trademark Hyo Shunshin while Natsumi followed with her flame. Naruto's apartment. The boy walked into the room and lay on his bed, face first, as he thought to himself, my father is the Yondaime and my mother is the second Jinchuriki. I don't know whether to laugh or cry or curse. Neither of this is your fault, Naruto, it is mine. I should have been smarter to avoid Orochimaru's ploy. I underestimated him because he was a human. Kyuubi, this is not your fault. I don't blame you for this because you were not in control of yourself. Orochimaru made you go into a feral rage because of that genjutsu. Now I just don't know how to react to this. considering that I now know that my parents did love me so much to sacrifice their lives like any parent would, and I am glad for that. Then the boy smiled. Besides, I wouldn't be able to have Haku and Hinata as both of my wives and an awesome bloodline if Dad didn't seal you inside me. Naruto, you. The Kyuubi let out a low chuckle. You are too forgiving for a boy at your age, don't ever change, Naruto. The Jinchuriki replied, you got it, Kyuubi. The connection cut off as Natsumi knocked on the door and came inside the room. Hey, Natsumi, sorry that you had to see all of that. Sorry. What I am wondering is why you are screaming out at everyone in sight that has wronged you how they should be at your feet, begging for mercy or lost trust in everyone except those very close to you. What good would that do? The village would avoid me in fear just like they did when I was a child, and losing trust in them would make me emotionless and cold. Besides, if there is one person in the village that acknowledges, accepts me for who I am and not what I hold, then I will be alright. Natsumi touched his shoulder. Well, then Naruto Uzumaki, you have found another. The aspect of you being a Jinchuriki just made your strength go higher as well as my respect for you. Naruto turned to smile at her and said, thanks, Natsumi-san. Haku and Tayuya, the foul-mouthed redhead, woke up groggily to find out that she was in a hospital and not Orochimaru's underground base. She moved her arm to find that she was cuffed to her bed and began to look around until she saw her roommate. That girl, she thought to herself, and then images of Jirobo using her for a substitution came back to her mind in full force, as well as the black-haired girl saving her life from harm's way and certain death. That son of a bitch, and Orochimaru-sama, no, Orochimaru abandoned me. She clasped her mark and tried to draw its tainted chakra only to feel nothing and bitterly laughed to say to herself, he even cut off the chakra from my mark, looks like I am dead to him either way. Just then Haku stirred and her brown eyes fluttered open. She turned to see Tayuya and said, you're awake, are you okay? Yes, but I won't be for long. What? That pedophile abandoned me. He cut off his chakra from my curse seal and now I have only about a week to live unless I show him that I am alive, but I doubt I will go back easily now that I am here and I wanna kill that fat-ass Jirobo. Haku's eyes narrowed at the mention of Jirobo. I will make sure that you will get your revenge, Tayuya-san. I could tell that you guys weren't friends, but a comrade should never use another fellow comrade as a shield. Then she thought, I wonder if there was a possible way to replace that mark with Naruto's. She voiced, I think I may have a way to help you. If you manage to kill the snake bastard or bring him here to force him to activate it again, I doubt it. Haku replied, just listen, what if we will replace the mark with something more potent? Tayuya said, I have no clue, I am not an expert on seals. From what Naruto told me about that mark and the information from Anko-san, that seal uses yokai and a heavy amount of chakra to dilute it from harming the victim. By using that seal, you inhibit some demonic traits. If we replace it with a stronger yokai, it could override it and save you from destruction. But where the hell in Konoha can we find a person like that? Your Yondaime killed the mother in Kyuubi practically. Wrong. But there is a law that refrains me from telling you the truth, and you are still considered an enemy ninja, but you have no place to go at all since that snake bastard abandoned you. In order to get you out of those cuffs, you will need to tell me everything about Orochimaru. Tayuya looked at Haku and smirked, so what do you want to know? Elsewhere, a familiar chirping of birds were heard, and following it was a crash. We find Sasuke Uchiha training hard and two gaping holes in a large rock. Thoughts of Naruto and Gaara's epic battle flickered through his head. Just how strong have you become, Naruto? Up until you meet her, you were just a buffoon and barely had any skill at all, but now. He flipped through three hand signs and held the light blue ball of electricity in his hand, but now, you are stronger than me. How did you get so strong and what is your secret? He slammed his hand into the rock, obliterating it completely into small pebbles, and his hand throbbed in pain. It must be those swords and that woman of yours. If I can somehow her to tell me the secret of your training and bypass that stupid pure of heart thing on your swords, I will be stronger than you and will be able to take on Itachi. The Uchiha thought as he held his hand. The ninja nodded to himself at a foolproof plan, and little did he know that his curse seal was acting up again. Sarutobi was meeting with the elders and Jiraiya, trying to convince him that he was the only choice to be Hokage. Jiraiya, you have the qualifications of being Hokage, you are the strongest out of the Sannin and have a certain charisma when it comes to politics. Koharu said, but the Sannin replied, I refuse, I don't like being cramped up in an office all day, signing stupid paperwork. I prefer my freedom over the position any day. Besides, I know someone better than me. Who do you have in mind, Jiraiya? Homura asked curiously. Tsunade. Sarutobi said, Tsunade, huh? But you know that she is hard to find. Even if you find her, Jiraiya, you wouldn't be able to convince at all to come back to the village because it is a constant reminder of what she lost. Yes, but we both know someone with the power to change anyone by meeting him. Sarutobi nodded, but it's risky due to that organization coming after him. Jiraiya said, I will look after him. No doubt that he could probably hold his own against them for a few minutes, but they will not get to him with me around. I can easily handle 2 S-class criminals by myself. The Sandaime said, then take Naruto and find him, but first, we must rebuild the village and put up a good front to the other villages to show that we are not weak. I also received word that Suna has been deceived by Orochimaru. They have found out that he killed the Yondaime Cage. Jiraiya nodded and left the area while Homura and Koharu turned to their old teammate. Are you sure that this is a good idea, Hiruzen? Koharu said, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is a valuable asset to this village. Homura said, I concur, if Akatsuki captures him, we would lose a powerful force as well as a good ninja. I trust Jiraiya's judgment, and isolating him to the village will not help. The Akatsuki are made up of 10s rank criminals who, together, can take down a village of this size just to find the Biju hosts, and I will make sure that this will not happen. Send word to Kumogakure. I believe that it is time to notify them of this problem before it gets out of hand. Sarutobi replied. 3 days passed and every ninja in the vicinity dressed up in black robes, standing on the roof of the Hokage building, mourning silently for the fallen ones. Each ninja walked up to the table and placed a white rose on the desk. Naruto returned home with Haku and he hugged her. Thank you for saving the old man, Haku-chan, I am just glad that you were not hurt. Haku smiled and planted a kiss on his lips. I think it will be even harder to lose me now that I am your wife, Naruto-kun. Then she grew serious. I need you to do something for me. What is it? You see, when I was fighting one of Orochimaru's bodyguards, he used one of his teammates as a substitution when I made to kill him. She is alive and willing to cooperate with information on him, but the thing is that she has only 6 days to live now. How do we save her then? If we can use the Kyuubi's chakra to override the cursed seal on her body, we could replace it and keep her alive. Naruto thought, hey, Kyuubi, is that possible? Yes, technically you are a demon, so you can use the mate mark to override that cursed seal on her neck. What are the repercussions of it? She will be bonded with you like Haku is on an intimate level. Damn it, or you could kill her and resurrect her like you did with Haku. Plan A is good. Naruto said, I can do it, but the downside is that your freedom will be much the same what you had with Orochimaru's. The redhead said, if I could deal with Snake Ear's shit, then I am pretty sure I can deal with this. Besides, it is not like I have much of a choice in the matter, now do I. She pulled on her collar to show the 3 bars mark on his shoulder blade and said, do it. Naruto stepped up to her and channeled his tenant's yokai into his body, changing his eyes from blue to red. For what it is worth, I am sorry for the pain. He bit her shoulder with his lengthened fangs and Tayuya gasped out at the sudden pain, then more of it lanced up her body and she gripped onto the railing. Naruto held her against his chest as she screamed into it when the pain was too much. The 3 bars mask was changed into a tattoo of a bipedal fox playing a flute with foxfire surrounding her. Tayuya laid back unconscious from the pain and Haku came over to squeeze Naruto's hand as she whispered, you did the right thing, and I am pretty sure that maybe she just might come to love you for that. Naruto said, thanks, Haku, you better stay here and keep an eye on her. Plus no doubt that some people may come to resent her for being affiliated with Sound if they find out. Haku nodded, right, I have finally found you, Naruto. Figures that you would be here to check up on your wife after what happened yesterday. By the way, young lady, thanks for saving the old man. The two Uzumakis turned to see Jiraiya in the doorway and the Toad Sannin said, I need you for a mission, we are going to retrieve the candidate for the 5th Hokage. Naruto nodded and turned to Haku, Haku, when Tayuya recovers, she will be staying along with us in the Namikaze compound. Namikaze compound? But isn't that? Yes, it is the 4th Hokage's home, he was my father. Haku let loose a small gasp and Naruto gave her a big grin. I always wondered why the 4th chose me and now I know, because he knew that I could handle the pressure because I am his son. Haku gave him a kiss and said, you never cease to amaze me. If I get kisses like that, I don't want to stop amazing you over and over again. Keep talking like that, I may go even further. That statement caused Naruto blush and Jiraiya said, oh, don't stop on my account. Shut up, Ero Sennin, also Haku, that Taki ninja in the exams, Natsumi-san, is also staying with us, under our protection. I will be back. She nodded to him and Naruto left with Jiraiya to the Namikaze compound to pack up his things to get ready to leave the village to find the next Godime Hokage. North wall of Konoha, 2 figures were on the top of the wall, they were wearing straw hats with paper streamers on the side. Their cloaks had high collars and were black with red clouds on them. The tall one had strange blue skin and his face closely resembled a shark and the shorter one was silent with black hair, but you couldn't see his face. Well, it seemed that it is still untouched, are you feeling nostalgic? The tall, shark man said to his partner. The shorter one said, no, I don't feel nostalgic at all. He lifted his eyes up to see Konoha clearly, his eyes held a fully matured Sharingan, indicating that he was the one who killed off the Uchiha clan by himself. Tea restaurant, the tall man said, it's been a long journey, wanna have a drink before we begin our search. The Sharingan wielder agreed and stepped into the restaurant, wary of the Jonin that was posted up on the wall, which was Kakashi Hatake. The one-eyed Cyclops was waiting on his prized pupil when Asuma and Kurenai arrived together. When they saw Kakashi, they nodded to him and Asuma asked, what are you doing here, Kakashi? I thought you hated sweets. Kakashi said, I am here to pick up a few things and I'm waiting for Sasuke. The Jonins noticed that the shorter man's hand on the cup tightened a bit. Then Sasuke came over. It is surprising that you are on time for once in your life, Kakashi. Kakashi said, this tends to happen on a rare chance. Sasuke looked over to see no one and said, I hate sweets. Kakashi nodded to Asuma and Kurenai, the two disappeared after the mysterious duo. The two were stopped by Asuma and Kurenai, then the chain smoker spoke, you two don't look like the locals, why are you here? The shorter man said, long time no see, Asuma-san, Kurenai-san. Asuma answered, you seem to know us, were you a ninja from here? The shorter man said nothing, but raised his hat to show his Sharingan eyes and Asuma said, you are, Uchiha Itachi. The blue man lifted his hat and said, I guess I have to introduce myself too since you two know Itachi, I am Kisame Hoshigaki. Kurenai said, you are a missing nin from Kiri, also responsible for killing some of Kiri's daimyos and the destruction of neighboring countries. Why are two S-rank criminals here? Asuma said, judging by the outfit, they have a purpose, but what is it? Why are you back here? You know after that incident you caused, you would be killed on sight. Itachi said, Asuma, Kurenai, get out of our way, I don't want to kill you. Kisame took the bandaged sword off of his back and slammed it down to the ground, breaking the concrete. Kisame asked, can I kill him? He is so annoying. Itachi said in monotone, it seems that they will not let us leave, just try to keep it down or you will attract more flies. Kisame grinned as he hefted his sword and swung it downwards. Asuma took out his trench knives and blocked the attack while Kurenai made hand signs to disappear like a ghost. Itachi thought, this is genjutsu. Itachi's Sharingan eyes widened with a sheen, and Asuma thought as he was struggling with Samahata, he can easily pressure me with the tip of his sword, what power. Kisami's mouth widened in a toothy grin as he yanked the sword back. The sword on Asuma's shoulder unraveled its bandages and ripped at Asuma's arm. Kisame said, my Samahata doesn't cut, it shaved people to pieces. Asuma said as he held his arm, damn, Kurenai, you are pretty slow. Suddenly Itachi was trapped against a tree and Kurenai appeared inside of it with a kunai in her hand. It's over. Suddenly Kurenai found herself trapped in her own genjutsu. Itachi said, nice genjutsu, but that level is useless against me. Kurenai thought, this is counter jutsu. Itachi let a kunai slip into his hand and Kurenai bit her lip to get out of the genjutsu. She immediately ducked up his swipe, but then she saw his foot speeding toward her and was forced to cross her arms to soften the blow. She was launched to the lake and Asuma cried out, Kurenai. Kisame said, you don't have time to worry about others. Asuma was forced to dodge his attacks while Itachi appeared behind Kurenai, as expected from you, Kurenai, but. Suddenly a new voice said, sorry, but the person that it is over for, is you, Itachi. Asuma saw an opening and aimed his knuckle blades at Kisami's head. Kisame shifted his head to the side, but then a cut appeared on his cheek. What? Kisame said in surprise. Then he noticed that Asuma's blades were covered with chakra. Kisame flipped through hand signs, Suiden, Sukoden. The jutsu was launched but another one was thrown in the path, cancelling it out. Itachi said, Hitaki Kakashi. The one behind him was a Kage Bunshin while the real one blocked Kisami's jutsu. Kisame grinned, ah, the copy ninja, I heard that you and Zabuza-chan got in a fight, a good opportunity to shred you into ribbons. Itachi barked, Kisame, stop messing around. You take too long in your fights, which will make us bound to be found out by Anbu. Don't forget our mission. Kakashi asked, what is this mission? Itachi said, we are looking for something. Kakashi said, and that is. Itachi said, if I tell you, then I have to kill you. Unlike Kisame, I won't waste time. Itachi's hand popped out shuriken and Kakashi immediately shouted, Suiden, Sujinheki. A wall of water surrounded Kakashi to protect him from Itachi's Suiden, Suigaden. His jutsu is too fast, my eyes can't keep up with me. From the looks of it, he used the shuriken as bait and used Suiden to attack my legs. The one-eyed bastard thought. Itachi said, your eye is highly remarkable, Kakashi. Then a Kage Bunshin of Itachi appeared behind Kakashi to stab him with a kunai, am I right? Kurenai said, Kage Bunshin. His jutsu is very fast. Suddenly Kakashi turned into water and Kisame said, Mizu Bunshin, he knows our techniques very well. Kurenai commented, nice one, Kakashi. Kakashi grabbed Kurenai, get down, this is the Kage Bunshin. Kurenai thought, what? Suddenly Itachi whispered, Bunshin Daibakua. The clone exploded and Asuma shouted, Kakashi, Kurenai. He rushed on the water to see that the two were okay and Itachi said, it is impressive that you can use the Sharingan to that extent even though you are not of our blood, but still it doesn't suit you at all, Kakashi. Do you know why we are known as the strongest? I will show you the true power of the Sharingan. Kakashi's eyes widened, it couldn't be, then he shouted, you too, close your eyes and don't open them. Only the ones with Sharingan can counter his technique. Itachi said, that is correct, only someone with Sharingan can provide resistance to the jutsu, but only someone with Uchiha blood has a chance of defeating this genjutsu Tsukuyomi. Suddenly Kakashi was crucified to a cross and clones of Itachi came with katanas in their hands. Everything was inverted and Itachi said, within this realm, space, time, everything is under my control. For the next 72 hours, you will be pierced by these katana repeatedly. The clones immediately proceeded to shank Kakashi, and then Kakashi dropped to his knees after the Tsukuyomi was over. Both Itachi and Kakashi were panting hard, and then Kisame said, "Ho! That jutsu is to break people's spirits, but you are still alive. However, Itachi, that eye is dangerous to you as well." Kakashi questioned, "Are you after Sasuke?" Itachi said, "No, we are after the Yondaime's legacy." Kurenai said, "Naruto." Kakashi said, "What do you want with the Kyuubi?" The rogue Uchiha said, "That is none of your concern. Kisame, take them." Kisame charged at them, but then he was sent flying with a kick and a shout, "Konoha Goriki Senpu." Kisame landed on his feet and asked, "Who are you?" The man said, "The Leaf's noble beast, Maida Guy." Kisame commented, "You are a funny guy, what is with the outfit, are you an exotic beast?" Itachi warned, "Don't take him lightly." Kakashi keeled over in exhaustion and Guy grabbed the man while Asuma said, "Guy, don't look in Itachi's eyes." Guy said, "I know that, you can open your eyes, just focus on his feet, that is how I train to beat the Sharingan." He gave Kakashi to Kurenai. "Kurenai, take Kakashi to the hospital, Asuma and I will take them." Kisame said, "You have guts." Itachi said, "Kisame, forget about it, we didn't come here to start a war. Plus I sense Anbu are on their way." Kisame said, "And I finally got excited, that is too bad." The two fled using the Shunshin no Jutsu, and meanwhile in the forest, a frustrated Uchiha was training hard as usual. "How much more do I need to grow? Naruto has thunderous power and he never showed it at the academy. Where has he been hiding that power? How can I get that power, and why is my Sharingan unable to copy his jutsu?" The Uchiha thought, "Looks like it is time to pay a visit to Haku." He said to himself. He went over towards the hospital and accidentally bumped into an Inuzuka who looked vaguely familiar to him. "Watch where you are going," she said gruffly, and Sasuke replied, "Excuse me, but I believe that you were the one who bumped into me first." The girl turned to Sasuke and said, "What was that? Do you want to start something with me?" Sasuke scoffed, "Look, I don't have the time to mince words with you, so I will be leaving, just don't get in my way." The girl shoved him and said, "You are making time, training area 14, at 5, don't be late." "Fine, I guess I can get a little sparring in place of just throwing kunai all over the damn place, I will be there." The female Inuzuka left with a smirk and Sasuke stalked off to the hospital as he thought, "Funny, she looks familiar, and I never caught her name. I guess I can ask when I am done with my business in the hospital." He went up to the receptionist's desk and asked, "Excuse me, miss, but where can I find Haku Uzumaki?" The receptionist smiled at the Uchiha as she looked at the charts. "She should be in room 274. Sasuke nodded his thanks and went to the stairs to the room. "Ah, Sasuke-san, do you need something from me?" Haku said, looking up from caring for Tayuya, and Sasuke said, "Yes, can I talk to you in private?" The female Uzumaki went outside of the room and looked at Sasuke. "So what is it that you want from me, Sasuke-san?" "That is simple, I would like for you to go on a date with me." Haku's eyes widened. "I am flattered, Sasuke, but I am going out with Naruto, you must understand this." Sasuke replied, "I don't understand this, you don't have to feel indebted to him because he saved your life. That is not how it is. Although I do feel indebted that he saved my life, there are other reasons that played into this. I love Naruto with all of my heart and soul, there is nothing that can change that, and he has shown me that the same love. If you want to ask someone out, you could ask Sakura. That weakling of a girl. No, I only go for strong women such as yourself, and most of the Chunin and Jonin Kunoichi like Kurenai-san." "Well, I am sorry, Sasuke-san, but I am off the market and will not be on it again anytime soon. Now if you will excuse me, I will be going to work now." Haku said as she walked back into the room, and Sasuke thought to himself, "Well, looks like the nice guy part is out of the picture, I guess I have to resort to trickery now."